residential tech talk, lighting specialist, residential tech.
Welcome to Residential Tech Talks. I'm Jeremy Glowacki, Executive Editor of Residential Tech Today. On this week's podcast, John Heyman joins us from Atlanta, Georgia, where he is CEO of SnapAV, a leading manufacturer and distributor of audio-video, networking, surveillance, power, and wiring products. When our guest today last appeared on the podcast back in December of 2020, his company was still called SnapAV. None of us had received our first COVID-19 vaccine, and the University of Georgia was still seeking their first football national championship since 1980. Well, a lot has happened since then. Hey, John, how about them dogs?
Go dogs.
Go dogs. Throughout it all, the custom integration industry just keeps humming along with SnapAV right in the middle of it all. John Heyman, thanks for returning to the podcast to share your tech observations and company updates.
Great to be here, Jeremy. It's been too long.
Well, for those of you may be confused by my seemingly random football reference, John and I are both proud Georgia Bulldogs. So again, how about them dogs? It's been a pretty fun run there for us.
It is. Yes, it is.
And you're right there in the middle of it all, being in the Atlanta area. I have to watch from a distance, but was fortunate that the first of back-to-back national championships was right in my backyard here in Indianapolis. So that worked out very well for me. I got to attend the game. I did not travel out to LA for the next one, but I had my college roommate there, and we were constantly in touch, and it was a great time. So we will move on to industry talk, but that's a really fun thing to share. And I didn't realize until after we were off our last recording that we were both fellow Bulldogs. You saw my backdrop and what I had sitting back there with memorabilia and things. But time has flown by since you were last on, and I didn't realize how far back it had been. And then I saw you were at the recent ProSource and HTSA spring conferences and realized it was time to catch up and follow some of the progress, obviously, through product introductions you've had, and talk to Eric Harper, your VP, on the podcast. I guess it was back at the end of the year last year after CEDIA. So we've caught up and talked about SnapAV. I just haven't talked to you. I wanted to start more broadly, though. We'll get to the products and find out what's going on there. But when you look at the current state of the CI industry as you go out and meet with dealers and partners, what do you feel good about right now with the channel as a whole?
Well, I think, the channel, this industry has evolved so much over now. I've been in it 8 years. I used to consider myself an outsider. I'm no longer an outsider, and the industry has changed so much in terms of the products that are available to integrators, the choices they can make in terms of what products they put into someone's home or business. I think the industry has ridden the back of, the work at home, live at home, everything at home phase where people have been upgrading. And they've enjoyed some really successful years. I think that I've been to ProSource recently, HTSA recently. I had the opportunity to spend a day with 6 of our larger partners on Monday and Tuesday. And I would say everybody remains bullish about their business. Everybody has some more caution because of everything in the news cycle right now, but people are still quite busy. And the challenges they face are, quite similar to the challenges they've been facing for the past, 5 to 10 years or so. And so I think people are kind of raising their heads kind of above water, if you will, because they've been so busy during COVID, so busy struggling with the supply chain issues that various manufacturers have had. And they're looking at ways now that things have maybe slowed down just a bit on how they can optimize their businesses and get ready for the next cycle. Because, I think everybody understands in 2007, 8, and 9, the housing crisis we had way too many homes in the US. There had been too much speculation. Now, all research indicates that the housing crisis we currently have is we're underhoused as a country, and we're going to build. There's going to be close to 20 million homes built over the next decade. The homes that exist today will need to be refreshed with technology. There'll be new opportunities with new products. So people are really optimistic, and I think, but they're taking a little bit of pause right now and saying, how can I make my business better for what I know is going to be a strong cycle ahead?
Yeah, that's a interesting observation there too, because I do feel like there have been industry folks who, in earlier days, maybe were just a little, I don't know, naive about the future and realizing that there's going to be a downturn always. It's every upturn there has to be a downturn, and I think they've been through it enough times. The veterans, the experienced integrators, that they're always kind of bracing themselves now, and they're keeping up with the business. They may not be able to keep up quite as much as they'd like with the staffing shortages that they have, or it was supply chain, something that's out of their hands, but they adjust. When you look at opportunities to improve the way that they operate, besides just being prepared for that downturn or staffing issues, what do you see as opportunities within the technology, maybe, that are ways that they could grow, improve, find ways to be less reliant on the ebbs and flows of certain, I don't know, entertainment technologies that people don't necessarily feel like they have to invest in, but I'm thinking something like lighting or something along those lines that are a little bit
Lighting,
more.
networking, surveillance, which is around the safety of your home. Well, I think I'll talk. There's two things that come to mind when you ask me that question. One is, how can they grow their business? Even if there is some more conservatism in the economy, and then how can they optimize their business around the revenues they have? And when I think about the latter, optimizing their business, this is still an industry. We have a labor shortage. That's that is not going away. So you have to become more efficient. How do you become more efficient? The things that I see smart integrators doing is standardizing across their product lines, whether it's ours or somebody else's, so that their techs can only absorb so much training to integrate, frankly, what's still a bunch of disparate products from different manufacturers in a home, and so, or business. And so I think this, what I see smart integrators doing is standardizing so they can drive efficiency with their teams. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to growth, I think the end customer loves what our industry does. They love the whole home audio. They love the movie theaters we've installed. They love the outdoor entertainment uh, venues almost that we've constructed in their backyards. What they don't love, and we've got to look ourselves in the eye as an industry, what they don't love is the reliability of their experiences. And that is something that Snap One has realized for the past 5 years or so. And because our focus is singularly on this industry, we have a commitment to try to help our integrators deliver better customer service over time. And so, how do you do that? One is standardization. Then, if you do that, what we would contend is there's ample opportunities to grow your business, and it lies within your install base. We all know that people are, if a bar or restaurant's opening, our integrators are chasing that business. They have relationships with builders. They depend on references in their communities. But the install base of this industry is still driving. The analogy I made at HTSA was they buy a new Mercedes every 2 years, but inside their home, they're driving 8-year-old technology or 10-year-old technology. And if we take care of our customers as an industry, if we take great care of our customers, there is a huge upgrade opportunity inside our base. They're running on old networks. Their surveillance systems don't provide the kind of video analytics and user experiences that we can now with things like our new X20 lineup. Lighting opportunities. Those all are really robust opportunities inside your install base. But you better make sure first your customer's happy with your service. So we're investing a lot of things to drive higher reliability and higher customer sat for the industry.
Yeah, and speaking of the service itself, that aspect of you're talking about equipment that isn't going to just work all the time. We know that we have glitches in technology, and I guess homeowners need to understand that, the clients need to understand that, but to be able to get ahead of that as an integrator, and you've got a couple of great opportunities with that with Oversee and Parasol as far as
Yeah.
service ahead of them realizing that there's a problem almost, right? And being
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
remedy it remotely.
I think it extends past service. I think it extends to software. So, kind of my background was in changing the way restaurants and retailers worked. And if you think about how those started 40 years ago, it was with a cash register, basically a solid state device that a retailer or restaurant used to serve the customer and process transactions. Over time, it morphed to open technology and it became much more software driven. And that's what's happening in our industry is it's becoming much more software driven. 20 years ago, we were installing solid state devices that were much more reliable and didn't depend on the software. And software has to be maintained over time. Drivers have to be written, security patches, new functionality can be introduced. And so this industry has become much more software driven. I mean, just look at the improvements and functionality we keep making in OS3 with Control 4 and with Oversee. That makes the product better and better as the homeowner owns it, the business owner uses it, or the integrator needs to use it. And so, we feel very strongly that what we need to do is number one, help our integrators with service. You know, homeowners are using their products at night and on the weekends when the integrator is not working. The bar and restaurant then they installed is using it at night and on the weekends. The average integrator has 5 to 10 people in it. They don't have the scale to provide effective 7 by 24 service. Parasol gives them that scale, and we can serve that customer directly for the integrator. The integrator shares in the profitability of that without having to do a whole lot. And the reason we can make that so cost effective is because A, Oversee is being used by Parasol, and B, the integrator has standardized on technology so we can fix the problem remotely 80% of the time. And customers are thrilled with that service. So then the next question is, how do we enable a world where um, customers are using and need more and more software? And so I'll give an example with OS3. OS3 can be used on our touch panels, it can be used on our remotes, but people like to use it on their own devices as well. They might use it in connection with another device. And so the integrator who's setting all that up has to be compensated for that work. The manufacturers have to be compensated for that work. So we see the industry moving. It's very exciting, actually, because of kind of the cloud platforms. The new functionality we're going to be able to deliver to the industry over time around software that we use today, around new functionality like surveillance as a service and video analytics and video storage. And fortunately, the whole DIY movement is setting the stage for this already. Like Rings charges now an annual fee for video storage. So we're really excited about kind of the move towards software. We're investing, Jeremy. I'll bet you at this moment we're investing about 50 million annually in our software. And so these are things, the software and service platforms that will help integrators evolve their business, take better care of their customer, drive more business with them, and grow their business more profitably.
And the reference that you made to the Control 4 OS 3, it's up to 3.3
3.3.3.
Yeah, that's how you say it. Sometimes we editors don't know how to actually say those things out loud that we read. But seems like the big message there was response to dealer requests with user interface streamlining and daylight modes for LED lighting that, tunable white, which is a big trend right now, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
So continue to evolve that control system, that operating system, like you said, and being able to do that and push updates to end users so that they can see progress and give the integrators opportunities for upgrades, I guess, as well. So
I mean, this is an example where the product has just gotten better with the release, and things like, being responsive to tunable lighting is something that the end customer didn't have 3 months ago, and now they will have. And then here's the upgrade opportunity, which is, I'll bet you we have good data on this. I don't have the up to date. Probably 60 to 70% of homes are still running OS2. Think about that now as an integrator, the opportunity there to go back and provide a whole new experience to your customer and the attachment you get of other products while you're there. And the customer will be happy that you came. They'll be happy that you visited. I was with a group of integrators, I won't name where, and we asked the question, how many of you have not had contact with one of your customers in over 5 years? It's amazing the number of hands go up. And again, we're using open technology platforms. The customers want you to check in with them and see how the technology is running and help them improve it.
I love when my integrator comes by. It's the best time. You always have a checklist of things like, hey, can we figure out why this is happening? And
That's right.
it's always like, they're so busy. You just wish they were able to be more proactive because they're so busy. They don't have a system in place for client follow-up.
And this is where I think, when the business was a solid state industry, it could really be install it and you are done.
Right.
But as the business has moved to open technology, you can't install it and then be done. And so what has happened is the business model for the industry has to be better aligned. If you have a service model, then you've aligned yourself with the customer. And the problem is, again, the service has to often be provided after hours, and many integrators don't have the scale to staff that, which was the brilliance that Ted Brunnekamp, Henry Clifford, and Greg Simmons had when they started Parasol to scale a service offering for the industry. And so we're really excited about that.
Well, we will continue our conversation with John Heyman after the break. Today's episode of Residential Tech Talks is brought to you by NICE, the global manufacturer of smart home security and building automation solutions. NICE is bringing together 30 years of innovation with award-winning products from Elan, Speakercraft, and Panamax to create a holistic ecosystem for builders, integrators, and consumers. Learn more about how you can create one home with one solution at go.niceforyou.com/RTT. Welcome back. We're talking with John Heyman, CEO of Snap One. John, speaking of investing, you recently announced a new co-headquarters in Lehi, Utah. And it looks amazing and is quite the facility. What makes it special for your employees, and your partner integrators?
Sure. Well, first of all, nothing happens without our team. And so, one of our tenets is to be a great place to work. And so we saw an opportunity to significantly upgrade what was the Control 4 headquarters in Lehi. It's a beautiful building, lots of glass, natural light. Very few people in the industry have an anechoic chamber. We built our own anechoic chamber for testing. Better testing means better quality. We've been investing so much in quality over the past 5 years with great results. So I would say just the openness of the facility, the light and energy, the testing, the labs we've built is just a great home for our team members and all our engineers to congregate and be more productive and build more and more and better products. So that's one upgrade we've done. We'll do a similar upgrade in Charlotte, which is our other large headquarters, over the next couple of years. And it's to the labor shortage isn't going away for highly talented people, and so one of the things we want to do, especially in this hybrid work environment, is make sure we have really awesome workspaces for our team members. And the investments we've made in both of those facilities around testing, not just our products, but how other manufacturers' products work with our products, so we can diagnose any issues before they get into the home or the commercial space, helps the integrator. So we're really excited about that. And we would invite any integrator to our Charlotte labs or to our labs in Salt Lake to see what we're doing.
And just curious, are you hosting trainings at those facilities, or are you mostly going out into the field to do trainings these days?
We're doing both. I think for our very large partners, we will do some visits to their offices, but generally we do training in Charlotte and in Lehigh. I think we had one of the things we did when we had this vision of building more brick and mortar stores in local communities was to extend training into those communities so integrators didn't have to travel. Of course, COVID and bringing people together interrupted all that, but that remains something that we're still very focused on doing, is we realize that the tech has to be well trained. We realize that there's a lot of different technology out there, and opening our doors and getting it closer or virtual online for our integrators is important, so they can keep their teams efficient, but also well trained.
Yeah, you celebrated 5 years of local growth with those partner stores. So how many are you up to? What's the spread across the country, and what's your plan for those in terms of adding?
We have 42 stores now, and if you think about our strategy, it's generally any major market where we see a large number of integrators with significant end customer demand, and we want to be closer to those integrators. So we just opened a couple earlier this year. We'll open another 3 to 5 this year.
Okay.
And we're continuing to expand that footprint. And what does a store actually do for the integrator? What can we do? How can we expand our services to integrators? We're getting great feedback. We are fortunate to have a lot of other leading third-party manufacturers. We call them third-party other manufacturers besides Step One participate, and we feel like we're offering kind of the best lineup of products, including ours, and have visions of kind of expanding the services. So I think over time, I think at the moment, I think the pacing of 4, 5, 6 stores a year is a good pacing for us. Lets us make sure we can open the stores in an orderly manner with great staff at each store. And if we try to grow it too quick, that equation may fall apart a bit.
Right. And it's great to have that touch factor there out in the market, not just be, handling everything virtually, which is, something that could happen, but you're able to walk in there and get what you need if you are in a bind, or have that pickup situation, or do some training, some local training. So that's great. We'll circling back to the more product specifics that we mentioned at the beginning. At CEDIA back in October period, I guess it was October this year, there were several great introductions from the company, including the Control4 Halo remotes, vibrant lighting, episode radiance, audio and lighting systems outside there, and the Luma X20 surveillance and Arachnus wireless access point. A lot of that you've seen. This one's shipping. We've reviewed a couple of the remotes. It's great to see that update because, the user interface is always such a great piece. What do you find that the dealer partners are most excited about from your new products? It's hard to say that probably in a general sense, but what are you hearing from the field on the new products?
I think last year they were most excited First of all, CEDIA was amazing, and it was
Hmm.
great to see the reception around the new products. The feedback I got last year from most integrators was, "Don't know how you did it, but you had inventory when nobody else did."
Right.
And,
That's
and
interesting.
huge compliment to our engineering team because we faced componentry issues, but
Mhm.
our engineering teams kept pivoting uh, uh, firmware designs, etc., so we could react very quickly and make sure integrators had products. So that was kind of the focus in 2022, is just keeping our integrators in business. At the same time, those same teams were doing some amazing innovation. You cited all of it. Just again, first of all, we've transitioned from the EA series to the core controllers without interruption. We've brought out a whole new series of Halo remotes. You'll start seeing the rest of the family later this quarter. Vibrant lighting, radiance, other lighting products, the software releases, 3.3.3, big oversea release, Arachnus, Wi-Fi 6, and Radiance, new Sunbright products. So I think this past quarter or so has been the largest quarter of launched innovation we've ever had as a company, and there's more coming. Like
Mm.
this was the vision when we originally brought Snap AV at the time together with Control 4. We still got a lot of work to do, but now integrators are seeing it, and the feedback has been outstanding. I think we all recognize what a great opportunity lighting is.
Yeah.
We all, as I would call it, the whole country's underlit.
Right.
Like I'm building a new home right now. I used a lighting design service, and it's amazing what light can do for your home.
Yeah.
And our integrators should be in the middle of this trend. And so I'm not excited about any one product more than the other. I think integrators deliver solutions,
Yeah.
and what they need to deliver solutions is an array of products. And I think what we're showing now is it's not just the software that makes all these products work together, but each one of these products in and of themselves are best in class. So that's the feedback and the energy I feel when I'm speaking with integrators.
Yeah, and that's obviously what Snap One is all about. It's that whole solution. But if we dive in a little bit more, I mean, I was thrilled to see the Halo remotes as full disclosure, as a Control 4 client myself, and I'm still looking forward to getting a review unit because we've got a professional integrator that reviews products for us. He's been getting them all, which is fair. He may also be a dealer, so that's easier. But I was also really excited about that Episode Radiance product, that outdoor lighting and audio speaker product that kind of, it just looked like a great engineering feat. Talk about hardware, to be able to build something that you can make into multiple things with
Yeah, the team did a great job with it, and it's so integrator friendly because of what you just said. Like, you can let your imagination run wild and how you want to configure that. Not just in kind of your backyard, but like we're putting it in our walkway up to our house because it gives some light. But if you're having a party, some nice soft audio as people are walking into your home. So uh, kudos to the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And you spoke of lighting, and of course you've got the Vibrant brand linear lighting line, and I saw that at Lightapalooza, which was the last big event that I was able to attend in February, and I didn't go to the buying groups this spring. But you mentioned it already, but obviously that's just such a great opportunity for your partners to get in early on a project to not only make lighting a better aesthetic in the home, but to be a partner earlier in the project so that you can then influence further investment in that home technology, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just, another experience that this industry can bring to uh, smart living that really ups the experience for a homeowner. Large integrators that I speak to are moving into electrical because of it. They want to
Mhm.
get on the front end of kind of the lighting. And I think from our perspective, we know many integrators can't afford to do that. So we're thinking about, how do we help integrators with that?
Mm.
Just like with Access Networks, we're helping integrators with network design when they need it. How can we be helpful in setting up a network for you, a surveillance system for you, lighting design, so the integrators can scale their businesses again because they face labor shortages or they're just not of the scale that they can afford to hire that specialized expertise and keep them busy all the time.
Right. I look forward to hearing more about that. That's great. Great to know that the scale of Snap One can get behind something like that and really help those partners out. So look forward to the future. Wrapping up, Infocom is probably next on the calendar in terms of big events, and I know that Snap One's primarily focused on the residential side, but you do have a presence there on the commercial side. So what are the specific commercial business initiatives and specifically Infocom focused products that would be at that show?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we have seen a number of commercial integrators come and buy products from us and look for solutions. But let's not forget, many residential integrators are also working in commercial spaces.
Sure.
And so for us to be, if we believe standardization is something that the industry needs, we have to be there for those needs as well. So, their techs can be more efficient if our products can serve both types of venues, a home and a smaller commercial establishment. And so we've been investing in products over the past few years in that area. We're continuing to do so. We've got products from Binary, Control4, and Strong that we'll be highlighting at the show, and we're really excited to get feedback on those.
And I guess I'll throw a little curveball. I know you're not going to be able to answer this, but I have to ask it, or people are going to go, "Why didn't he even bother?" In the fall CEDIA Expo, the biggest show of the year for us all. I know you can't probably tell me anything. Is there anything you can hint at as far as new products for that show?
I think all I'll say is I think if you saw the buzz around our booth and products this past year, I think you'll see an equal level of excitement around some new things that the team is working on. We typically try not to show products before we launch them,
Right.
but we're working hard to all these trends that you and I have been talking about today. These products that we're launching are the initial launches in families of products.
Okay.
And so I think you're going to see a lot of extension there and a lot of excitement.
That makes sense. Very good. Well, John, thanks so much for taking your time out today to talk to us, and I hope you have a great continuation into your spring and summer and success with Snap One. And we look forward to seeing what's in store this fall from the company.
Let's not wait 3 years before we catch up again.
I agree.
Jeremy, good to speak with you.
Great talking to you too, John. John Heyman is CEO of Snap One. You can learn more about his company at snapone.com. And that wraps up today's show, which was produced by Residential Tech Today, IPW, and Pretty Easy Podcast. Please check out prettyeasypodcast.com if you want professional and affordable production help on your own podcast. If you're new to Residential Tech Talks, please subscribe to our weekly podcast wherever you watched or listened to this episode. Also, check out all the latest residential tech news at our magazine's website, restechtoday.com, where you can also subscribe to the print or digital magazine and to our Tuesday and Friday email newsletters. Until next time, please stay safe, stay inspired, and let us know if you have a great story to tell.
Residential tech talk, vendors, lighting specialists, residential tech,
Home automation, smart device, home or smart house.